Okay, so today we can discuss about Vora2 PG tool, which is most popular tool as a part of migration, which is an open source tool. So basically, I have an Oracle server and Postgres. You are able to see my paint, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we have Oracle server and we have Postgres server. So I have a database prod and schema bank underscore schema. So this schema I want to migrate to Postgres using Vora2 PG. And I have some set of objects in this schema like procedures, functions, partitions, indexes, like all the object types I have in my schema bank underscore schema name. Now I want to use Vora2 PG tool and I want to convert to PostgreSQL. Okay. Now recommended is, so you have to configure a separate server for Vora2 PG, okay, which should have a connectivity between Oracle server and Postgres server. Okay. So using this Vora2 PG tool, we can able to extract or pull or export the structure of our schema, and we can import. Either we can take the structure in .sql files and later we can able to import here in Postgres, or you can directly take export and directly import in the Postgres. Either way will work. So only thing is uh, you have to add the parameters according to that. Okay, so you can directly take the backup and keep in Vora2 PG server as a .sql files, and later you can import, or you can directly take the export and directly you can import here. Okay, so either way will works. Once the structure is done, then you can do the data. Okay, so it's good to have a separate server for Vora2 PG, which has connectivity between both the servers. Okay, but in our case, since we don't have three missions, what I'm going to do is I'm going to configure Vora2 PG in the same PostgreSQL server. Okay. This is not recommended in real time, but for practical purpose here, I'm going to configure Vora2 PG in the same Postgres server. Okay. So in this Vora2 PG, we have to download the latest Vora2 PG binaries from Git. Okay, it's open source. You can directly download and you can install this Vora2 PG with make and make install. And the other thing is, before you install this Vora2 PG, we should have the basic packages like you need wget package, you need Perl modules. Okay, so those things you need. Okay, and you also need, important thing is Oracle home. We don't need a Postgres home here because we are directly using in PostgreSQL server. So we are using the same binaries. Okay, PostgreSQL binaries here. But if you are going with a separate server for Vora2 PG, you need Oracle home and Postgres home. Okay, PG home, and you need modules. Okay, DVD Perl modules. So these are the things which you need as a part of Vora2 PG as a pre-check. So you need an Oracle home. Oracle home is to connect to Oracle server. You need to add the TNS names.ora of this prod into the Oracle home. Oracle home means this is client, not a binaries. Okay, this is client. This is client you need. So Oracle client. You can just specify Oracle client and Postgres client. Okay. So you have to configure Oracle client here to connect to this Oracle database. You need to add the TNS names.ora in this client admin location. As usual, Postgres home. Client, Postgres client to connect to your Postgres SQL. Okay. Since I'm not going to configure in a separate mission, since I'm going to configure in Postgres SQL itself, here I'm going to install Oracle client. Okay, Oracle home client. And then I will add the production TNS names.ora in the client location network admin. And then I can connect to my Oracle server with the help of Vora2 PG. Okay, this is the things which we need as a part of pre-checks. This is a straightforward of installation. Okay, Vora2 PG installation. So this I will provide you document. I already installed the Vora2 PG in my PostgreSQL. So first you need the necessary packages, and you need Oracle Home Client, Postgres Home Client, and you need to install DBT modules. So okay, DBT modules either you can directly download from CPAN website, or you can use CPAN utility, which is the Perl utility. You can directly download in the CPAN tool. Okay, this DBT modules, Oracle DBT modules, and Postgres DBT modules. Okay, so once you install this, you can directly check the connectivity, whether its connectivity is working or not. Then you can able to take the export. So let's see this practically. Okay, so I have my Oracle's database called prod, and I have my Postgres cluster up and running in the other machine. Okay, let me connect to my database, Oracle database. So for example, I have decided to convert or migrate a schema. Okay, the schema name is this one, bank underscore schema. Okay, so if I connect to this schema, okay, I have some set of objects. Okay, so let me pull the object types, whatever the objects I have with db underscore objects. Okay, so I have this many objects. I have function, indexes, log columns, packages, package body, procedures, sequences, tables, table partitions, triggers, and views. Okay, almost all objects I have in this schema. Okay, I'm planning to migrate this schema into Postgres. Okay, so for this, what we have to do, we have to install the Oracle PG tool for migrating. Okay, so I have my Postgres server. I already configured my Oracle PG in etc Oracle PG. Okay, so when you install the Oracle PG, you will get a configuration file in Oracle PG. Okay, so this configuration file is very important. So what I can do, I'm just trying to take as Oracle pg.conf, which is default configuration file. Okay, so now before that, okay, so I have configured my Oracle client, okay, in this location, Oracle. So I have configured the install client, which is 19.23. So this is my Oracle client location. Okay, in the Oracle client location, I have network admin, right? So in the network admin, I have TNS names.ora, which I added our prod TNS names.ora. Okay, so my Oracle listener is running, and the service, the same service which I added in the Postgres client location. Okay, so with the help of this service only, I can able to connect to my Oracle server. Okay, now so in etc Oracle PG, I have the Oracle PG configuration file, right? So this configuration file is very important. Okay, so here we need to add the necessary parameters. Once you install Oracle PG, this is my Oracle home, which is my Oracle client location I have to give. So my Oracle client location is this, right? So this is my Oracle client, OPT app Oracle Insta client location. Okay, and now you have to give Oracle DNS. Okay, so Oracle DNS is Oracle connectivity. So here, in my case, my host name of my Oracle server is 192.168.1.19. Okay, so 19 is my Oracle host name. Okay, and now I have to give my SID. So SID is prod and my port is 1521, which is the default port. And here you can pass the username and password. So this user should not be a system user. It can be any user. By default, it will have the system and manager. Even my username and password is same. Okay. So you can, this with the help of this user only, it will connect to your database. Okay. So this should not be a system user. You can have the read-only user. Any of the read-only user is enough for fetching the extract. Okay. So by default, it will take the system. You can change it. You can just create a read-only user. That user should have all the permissions of the schema which you are going to export. All the permission means at least read-only permissions. Okay. Now the important options. So far we have given the Oracle client and the Oracle connections, Oracle DNS. Okay, username and password. And next, we have to give the schema name. Okay, which schema you are going to export in Oracle database. Okay, so you can just uncomment this parameter. Schema name you can just give here. So I'm going to migrate this schema, right? Bank underscore schema. This is my schema name. Okay, and now let's go on, and there is a parameter called type. Okay, so in this type, you have to give what are the object types you have to export. Okay, so this comes under type parameter. So you have tables, you have packages, you have insert, copy, view, grant, synonym, sequences, whatever objects you need. You can just take the export of those objects. Okay, so by default it will take all objects. Okay, all the objects. But if you want to specify what are the types you want, for example, I want only tables, I want only partition tables, I want only sequences, you can just mention in the type command here, table, comma, view, comma, metallized view, comma, and so on. So all objects, whatever you want, you can just specify them. Even though if you not mention by default, it will take everything. Okay, by default, even though it has table, it also pick all the object types. Okay, whatever the object types here you have, it will try to export that all. Okay, by default. Now you have another parameter called allow. Okay, so this parameter, when you have to use in case if you want to fetch or if you want to migrate only a specific set of tables. Okay, in that case, you can just enable this allow parameter and you can add those tables here. Okay, or you want only a specific sequence, that sequence name, or you want only a specific package, you can just specify that package name. It will only export that specific object names. Okay, whatever object name you have given here, the object name may be table or object name may be sequence or whatever it may be. So it will just export that specific. But in our case, for now, I need all type of objects, right? So I'm just leaving this as it is. And okay, you have here Postgres connectivity details as well. Okay, if you enable this parameter, all the Postgres connectivity, by default Oracle PG will connect to Oracle and it will extract all the data and it will directly import to Postgres. Okay, for now I don't need to import directly in the Postgres. Because of that, I have commented this. If you enable this, it will directly go and import. Okay, in Postgres database. Okay, I don't want that for now because I want to see how it is going to export and how the converted code looks like in the Oracle PG location. Okay. Now I have a parameter called data limit. Okay, so by default the data limit is 10,000, which means whenever you are doing the data migration at a time, it will take 10,000 records. Okay, if you want to export more data at a time, I mean the bulk data, you can add the bigger number, but for this you need the enough memory. Okay, that you need to keep in mind. Okay, so that's it. So remaining everything looks the default parameters. We don't need to worry about the remaining things. Only thing is you have to concentrate on the Oracle client location and Oracle connectivity details. Okay, and the object types, what object types you need. Okay, so here I'm going to export all kind of objects. So I just left the default value, and I have commented for now the Postgres related uh, connectivity details because I want to export in the Oracle PG local, the server. I don't want to import directly because I just need to look how the uh, converted code looks like. Okay, this is my Oracle.pg.conf file. By default, whenever you install the Oracle PG, okay, so you will get this file, Oracle.pg.conf dist file. This is one template configuration file you will get. So I have copied this to Oracle.pg.conf and I have added the necessary parameters, okay, to it. Now I want to test the connectivity of my Oracle. Okay, so let me see what is the command. You have a so if you did not remember the commands, you have Oracle PG -- help command. Okay, here you have the number of like so many bunch of options. Okay, for now I want because I want to check the connectivity for this. I have show report kind of command. Okay, option I have. So let me see. This is estimation cost to pull the your assessment report. Okay, so first thing is before you take the export, you need to run the assessment report. Okay, so here you have the show report. Show version also you have to check the Oracle connectivity. Okay, so first let me check the just give me a minute. Yeah, so I have show version utility. This is the utility. Okay, to check the connectivity of whether I'm able to connect to my Oracle so Oracle database. Okay, show version, which means it will connect to Oracle database and it will check the Oracle version. Okay. Okay, so here it is not able to find. First, let me export the Oracle client and everything. Okay, so I want to set the bash profile. I mean the path of my Oracle. Just give me a minute. I have my bash profile. Okay, so now I'm going to export my Oracle home and have point out my TNS. So TNS admin location is this. Okay, and this is the path. Okay, and this is my Postgres home. For now, we don't need this. Okay, let's run the same command again. Okay, now it is connected to Oracle database, which is 19C, and it is able to connect. Okay, with the help of this configuration file. So you have to set your bash profile for Oracle client. Okay, so now the first thing which you have to do is once you know that from Oracle PG you can able to connect to Oracle database, okay, with the help of this client, you can generate the assessment report. Okay, so for generating the assessment report, you have a command something like this. So I have okay. So show reports, okay, with estimation cards. I need with estimation cost how the assessment report looks like. Assessment report is it will connect to Oracle database and it will extract all the object types, and it will prepare a report that what are the objects which is able to feasible, okay, in Postgres. I mean, it will check the compatibility check with along with the cost, whether this schema is very complex or very simple, okay, based on the complexity level or compatible level, it will scan all the object types, and it will prepare a report in the HTML format. Okay, we can just take a look of this HTML report, how it looks like. So it will give along with the estimation cost if we have this function or this package or this procedure. So what is the cost? How many lines of code it has, and what is the complexity of those objects? So it has totally 5 object uh, complexity levels, which is CMM level 5, level 4, level 3, 2, 1, and so on. So if the report has CMM level 1, it is like very simple schema. Okay, if you have 5, okay, complexity level is 5. It is like complex schema which requires more manual efforts to convert those code. Okay, like procedure, functions, packages, whatever we have. Okay, by this report you can able to identify the cost and the compatible things, whether you can able to migrate this particular schema or you need what type of manual efforts you need. Okay, so it is telling aborting export. Not sure why. It has to scan the other objects. Okay, so this report I will send you how it looks like. Okay, now what I can do, I can directly create a project and I can directly take an export. So to create this project, you need to use the project based utility. Okay, so you can give any project name. So for example, I'm using Orato PG hyphen project base. This is my Orato PG base location. And by using init project option with the project base, I can give any name. For example, this is for testing purpose and just give the test. So when you create the project, what it does, it will create all the necessary scripts. Okay, I mean, it will create all the folders and necessary scripts. For example, if you give ls, it created a folder called test, right? So inside this test, you have the export.ss script and import.ss script, and you also have folder called schema, right? So inside the schema, you have all kind of object types, okay, procedure functions. For example, if you take an export, all the tables .sql will be saved under the table folder. If you export the sequences, under the sequence folder, it generates a SQL file called sequence.sql files. Okay. So instead of wasting time, let's go and do an export. So if you do export dot, okay, just a minute, why it is. Oracle DNS. Okay, so I got it now. So basically, when you run the Oracle PG, it will look, so whenever you create any project, you have another folder called config. Okay. So inside the config, you have so you have orato.pg.conf file. Okay, so this you need to update. So by default, you have so this one, right? So you can just copy this same one, orato.pg.conf to test location config folder. Okay, so you want to overwrite? Yes. So the one which we have changed in, this is the default one, right? So, but when you take the export, it will look for the configuration file which is present in the project level, okay, which is at the config. So you can just copy the same configuration file and just run the export again. You see what to PG test. Okay, so you can just run the export.sh now. So when you run export.sh, based on the configuration file which we have copied just now in the config folder, it will connect to Oracle database, and it will fetch all the object types, like whatever the object types which we have in that schema, and then it will generate, it will convert or it will migrate those DDLs into Postgres related sequence, and then it will generate all the SQL files in the same server, I mean the Oracle PG server in the schema folder. Okay. So first it will do the structure, and it will also provide you a command to export the data as well. Okay, that we'll see. First, let's do the DDLs with the export schema.sh. So since in real time, okay, you have still more objects. You can just run this in the no hub so that this will not disturb in the backend. Okay, so it will connect to Oracle database now, and it will fetch all these object types, whatever we have, function, indexes, packages, procedures, and everything. So it will take some just 5 to 10 minutes time to capture all those things. Okay, it will take some time to scan those things. Oh, sorry. Actually, I forgot to start recording, right? Did I start it? Okay, I started recording. Yeah.
One question, sorry, I think I missed it. This export schema.sh, is that the script that is dynamically generated or?
Yeah, it is dynamically generated when we create a project with project-based utility. We have just created a project, right? So it will just create a folder with the project name. In our case, test. Okay, it automatically creates this all folders inside the project level.
Okay.
So dynamically it does. Yeah. Okay, now it is scanning tables, types, sequences, synonyms, all the stuff it will scan. Okay, whatever we have, and it will. If you see, it is generating in the schema folder. Okay, which is present in the our project folder. Okay, so which we have created just now. The project inside the project we have this. It's this all folders. It automatically generate dynamically. Okay, we are using this script now for exporting, and it will generate table.sql, sequence.sql, everything in the schema folder. Okay. And when you take the data export, it will store in the data.sql in the data folder. All the data will be stored as a data.sql file. Okay, so we'll see how we can take the data as well.
Just adding to Suresh here, maybe if you are working for multiple projects, right? So you can create your own projects. So it means like you are going to segregate. Okay, so each project with the configuration. So in the configuration file, you need to like mention the project related details. So what is the Oracle one? What is the PostgreSQL one? Okay, so it is like each project is like having the each folder, and each folder is having the project related details. So like that we can segregate.
Yeah. So in our case, we have almost all object types. Okay, so we have 4 partition tables. We have 10 normal tables. We have sequences. We have 2 procedures, packages. Okay, and log columns also we have. We have indexes, functions, views, and triggers. Okay, so usually, as we know in Postgres, the partition tables, it will create as a separate table. Okay, so we'll see how it generates the DDL of the partitions. Okay, so if you have interval partition, you have to manage with PG Portman, which we already seen in the tuning classes, how we can create the PG Portman extension and how we can create with the help of the create parent function. Okay, so we are going to create the future and the past partitions, right? So with the help of pre-make value, if you give the 10, it will create the 10 future partitions and 10 previous partitions. Okay, and also when you run the maintenance, it is automatically creating the future partitions based on the range which we have defined that we have seen. So when you come to the migration part, like for example, you have the PG Part1 partition naming conventions is different, and your Oracle, whatever you have, whenever you migrate. So Oracle PG, will create the partition names as the same like Oracle. Okay, but PG part 1 naming convention is different. So what you have to do, you have to rename all the partition names as per, you can write a small script to rename all the partition names as per PG part 1. Okay, even in the PG part 1 documentation, they will provide you how we can migrate the existing partition table into part 1 table. I mean, in the partitions PG part 1. Okay, so like this you can manage when you try to migrate. Okay. So what we can do, so once the schema is exported, so we can create the golden gate probably tomorrow. Okay, so once your structure as well as your data is exported, okay, we can create an extract and pump here in Oracle server, and we can create a replicate Postgres golden gate replicate we can create here, and we can see how the replication looks like. And this is initial load, right? So later point of time, for example, you have already created before export, you have already created the golden gate extract and pump, okay? And you need to spend time for migration. So once the migration is done, while starting the replicate, you can start with SCN. Okay, so basically in Vora 2 PG, you have an option called SCN. Even you can use that. Let me see where is that option. Okay, so with the help of SCN also, you can start that replicate at the golden gate side. So you have an option with SCN somewhere. Let me see. See here, you have --SCN. Allow to set the Oracle system change number to take the export. So when you are taking the data export, you can, with the help of the SCN number, you can take, and the same SCN you can use at the replicate to start your golden gate replicate. Okay, so that it both will be in sync. So Vora2 PG have this option as well. For doing cutover, I mean, you can take the data up to this particular SCN, and you can start the replicate to be in sync for doing easy cutover. Okay, when you do the migration. So we'll see that tomorrow how we can set up the golden gate and how we can replicate each. Oracle process and golden gate processes, how it looks like. So basically, the thing is, Postgres golden gate binaries is available in version 12.2. Okay, so we don't have 19 version still released, golden gate version for heterogeneous databases, only for Postgres not released, but you have for other databases, like if you have Teradata, SQL Server, MySQL, your 19 binaries is available, golden gate binaries is available, but for only Postgres, due to some reasons they have stopped, not released the latest 19 version. So you have 12.2 golden gate version for Postgres. Okay, so when you are doing the replication between one version to other version, in especially from higher to lower version, you have to use the specific golden gate parameters to handle those kind of trail files. Okay, that we'll see tomorrow. And for heterogeneous migration, for now, your DDLs will not support. Okay, only the DML operations will support. So your structure will not migrate as a part of golden gate for now. So you have to, when you add the new table into that schema, okay, you have to add that into your replication, and you have to replicate. So that things we can see tomorrow. So if you enable the configuration file for Postgres, like DNS details, okay, it will directly export and it will directly import as well. For now, it doesn't import it in Postgres cluster. It has generated all the DDLs in the same schema folder. Okay, see, if you see to extract the data, use the below command. So it also gives the copy command to export the data as well. Okay, so either you can export the data, or while importing, you can directly enable the DNS details. It will directly take the data export and it directly will import in Postgres. Okay, either way will work. Okay, so what if you go to the schema folder, you have all the folders, right? For example, if I want to see the tables, how it looks like, you can just go to CD tables and it generates the table.sig. If you go here, so this is the converted code. Okay, so if you see the data types, it's already converted. Probably in Oracle, your data type of accounts table, account number is number. Okay, it converted to big int. By default, all your number data types will convert to big int. Okay, in Postgres. And again, you have to see based on the data how you have. If you have something like floating values, or um, so you have to define these data types again as per the Postgres syntax. Okay, the date column will be changed to timestamp. Varchar2 will change to varchar. Okay, and you have seen all the data types is automatically converted by Ora to PG. Okay, and if you see all the index, all the constraints and indexes also it has taken as a part of the migration. Now you want to see how the partition tables looks like. Okay, so as we discussed, the partition table names will be separate, right? So it is creating as a separate table. So in our case, we have the partition on the sales table. Okay, so sales table have 4 partitions. So that is the reason it has created separate 4 partition names. Okay, in partitions. And now I want to see how the sequences looks like. So this is the sequence. Okay, same like Oracle, it will generate the DDLs. Okay, the only thing is in Oracle the maximum value of your sequence having huge limit, like huge number, like 99999 and so on. So you have some 10 nines or 15 nines, I'm not sure. But that limit is something lesser value in Postgres. Okay, the maximum value you have some limit. So if you reach that limit, then you don't have that. So you have some limitation here in Postgres, the sequence max value. Same like Oracle, you don't have that much nines here. Now you have procedures. Okay, procedure.sql. So it also converts the procedure. So these things and all, we'll see what issues we'll get while we import. So for example, in this case, the bulk collect will not support in Postgres. So we'll see how we need to handle in the loop. Okay, so bulk collect functionality, right? If you want to fetch the the huge bulk data and store in your variable, you use bulk collect option in Oracle. Okay, so this you don't have in Postgres. You have aggregate array. We have to use the aggregate array, that we'll see. Okay, for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to import in Postgres. So to import, I have to enable the configuration, right? So run to pg.conf. You directly go to Postgres DNS. Okay, so you can just enable these parameters. Okay, so my Postgres database name is maybe I'm going to import in the database Sky. Okay, and this is the IP address of my Postgres server. Since I have in the same server, I'm going to give the local host and the default port and user. Probably I may try to create a user called migration. Okay, so I'm going to use this user for migrating. Okay, so into this database, I'm going to import. Okay, so now so you have a script called import all.sh. With the help of this script only, you are going to import in your Postgres. Okay, so I want to import into the Sky database. Okay, I'm going to use migration user. Okay, and I want to import in the schema called same schema I will use bank underscore schema. Okay. So I want to create this schema and then I have to import and then I have to give the ownership for this database or schema as say migration user or maybe Postgres, whatever you need. Okay. So I'm giving this as a ownership. Or maybe if you want to give ownership with Postgres, you can just use Postgres. For now, I'm just giving the migration. Okay, so now what it is telling, would you like to create the owner of the database migration? Sorry, so this owner is already there, probably my spelling mistake. So before you want to run the import, you can directly go to your Postgres psql/l. Okay, currently you don't have the Sky database and you don't have the, okay, you have the user already, migration user. Okay, so now what I will do, I will run the import. So it is telling, do you want to create the owner migration? No, because we already have it. Okay, it is telling the database is not exist. Do you want to create the database? Yes. Okay, it has created the databases and it is telling the schema also you want to create? Yes. Bank underscore schema I want to create. Okay, now it is telling, do you want to set the search path to bank underscore schema? Yes. Okay. So you can either directly go and create this database and this schema manually or even this user. Okay. Or you can, with the help of import command only, you can create. It will ask whether you want to create this database or whether you want to create this schema. Okay. Everything it will ask. Okay. Now it has set the search path to this schema. Now it is telling, do you want to import the sequences into the database? Yes. Okay. And sequences has been created and it is telling you want to import the sequence values. Yes. You want to import tables? Yes. Okay. Tables, all the tables has been imported and it is asking, do you want to import the package? Yes. Okay. So now you have some issues in the package. Okay. So we'll see what is the issue in the package. So if you go and see the package, where is this package? You have package.sh. Okay, so why exactly the package is getting failed? So if you see here, type, okay, so percentage row type they have given, right? So we'll see what is the issue here. So basically what they are doing in this package, so they have a table called sales, okay? Into the sales table, you know, right? In Oracle, you have a concept called collections, right? So you have arrays concept, right? So you have nested arrays, you have associate arrays, you have varchar arrays, okay? So with the help of types, they are going to declare as a, if you give percentage row type, it is going to fetch the entire column data, okay? If you give the percentage type, only percentage type, it is going to fetch that specific column related same data type, it will allocate to this particular type, okay? This type we are using as a variable, okay? Sales underscore record. Okay, this is the syntax in Oracle. So Oracle PG, what it does, it has converted same like Oracle only. It not converted this kind of logic. And you are using this particular variable in bulk collect. Okay, so in the bulk collection, which means you are going to store that particular records, whatever the records which you are trying to fetch into this variable. Okay, so this condition, with the help of this condition, you are going to fetch some data, right? So how in Oracle it works? So basically in Oracle, you have this kind of types of arrays. So in Postgres, you have something called aggregate arrays. Okay, you have to use that. So what I can do, I will just try to allocate this variable as records. So record data type. Okay, so you have record data type in Postgres to store like arrays. Okay, here they are fetching select star, right? If they are trying to fetch some specific columns there, and they used to define that particular column as well. For example, sales ID and percentage row type, something like this. Okay, since they are trying to fetch star, they're directly using percentage row type, which means they're trying to fetch the entire table and storing. So this is Oracle syntax. So what we have to do in Postgres, we have to convert this into record type. Okay, and we, instead of the bulk collection, we have to use the aggregate array. Okay, so because bulk collection, it is not supported in Postgres. So instead of this, we have to use array aggregate. Okay, so this, you have a block. Okay, there they will explain you like how, when you have the bulk collection, what is the equivalent code to convert. Okay, so that you have to look into the syntax of Postgres, how it looks like when you use the arrays. Okay, so array aggregate, and now you have a loop here, right? So when you use the array aggregate here, you have to use array length here. Okay, in the for loop. So this is the syntax of the Postgres. Okay, so what I am going to do, array of length. This you have to call in the loop, right? So yes. So when you use the array aggregate, you have to use in the loop array length. Okay, this is a syntax in Postgres. So this all manual work you need when you have some complex PL SQL code. Okay, so like bulk collection for all indices, and if you have any NVL functions, okay, and if you have any DBMS packages, for example, DBMS underscore output dot put line, right? In Oracle, it has connoted as a race notice. So this is the equivalent code in PG SQL. Okay, so this all stuff you need to understand when you work with migration. So you need to know some development knowledge as well in Postgres. Okay, the equivalent syntax, how you have to write. Okay, this is how you have to change the code in Postgres. Now we'll try to recompile it. And one more thing is, in Postgres you don't have direct support of package. So package object type will not support. What it does, instead of package, it will create separate procedures and separate functions. Okay, and it will create a schema name with the package name. Okay, so this is the default behavior how you have in Postgres. When you do any migration tool, what it does, it will create a separate schema as a package name. Inside that schema, whatever the procedure functions we have under that package, it will create all as a procedures and functions. You don't have direct object type like package in Postgres. Okay, you have to remember that point. Now we'll see. I'm just going to save this, and then I'm going to run the import again. Okay, now this time, okay, so here you have import command. So this time I don't want to drop or recreate my database. I don't want to create schema because I already have. I don't want sequences because the sequences I already imported, sequence values I already imported, tables I already imported. Now when you come to package, now I'm going to give yes. Okay. Now the package has been created. So okay, it has created the package name as the schema name. Inside the schema, it creates all the procedures and functions whatever you have in the package. Okay, so now whether you need to import views, yes, I want to import views. You want to import triggers, yes. You want to import function, yes. You want to import procedure, yes. Okay, so even I think procedure also have some kind of same syntax. Okay, let's go to the procedure.sql. You have make deposit procedure. You have, this one is getting failed, right? Okay, I think this is the same thing which we have in the package. So let's delete this. I don't want to do a duplicate. So see, whatever we have in the package, right? It also have the same syntax. Okay, so you have to change according to this syntax. Maybe we can do that. Have to define as a record, and instead of bulk collect, I have to use array aggregate. And when I use array aggregate, I have to use array length in the loop. Okay, so this is the correct syntax. Now let's save this and let me do import again. This time I want only the procedures. Triggers I already done, functions I done, procedures. Partition tables, yes. And do you want to import indexes and constraints before loading data? So it's not recommended. Always, you should not create any indexes and constraints. Okay, so before you import the data. So this is also one more point. Better you give no here. Once the data import done, then you have to give the constraints and indexes, because it's not recommended to, you may face some issues. Okay, first maybe Oracle PG may first try to import the data in the child table before parent. So you may face some issues, foreign key constraints or something. Okay, so that is the reason I'm not going to create constraints and indexes for now. I'm just giving no. I will do it once I done the data import. Okay, I don't want the table spaces to be created because I already have my default table space. Now it is asking whether you want to import data directly from Oracle database to Postgres. I will give yes. Okay, so now it is trying to export the data and it is trying to import in Postgres database. So this is just one sample example I have shown, bulk collect. Okay, so you have some other Oracle functionalities which will not support in Postgres. Okay, that probably I will provide you with the document. What is the equivalent code that we need to convert if we face that issue? Okay, so I've just reproduces one issue for bulk collection. In similar way, we have some Oracle functionalities like for all indices. You have exceptions, right? So in exceptions, you need to handle it differently in Postgres. How you need to handle when you have the null values. Okay, how you need to deal. So null values is something that you need to remember in Postgres. So because Oracle will treat null value as a different. So when you concatenate null value with any string, okay, so the results it will treat as null value, but Postgres will treat it as the empty. The empty string will not. It will treat as a null value. So that also we'll see how. I will provide the document how we have to handle the null values. Okay, when you use any, and how you need to change the NVL functions. Okay, and when you have unique constraints on null values, how you need to handle, and the data types. Okay, so we will also provide some tips on how you need to convert some data types when you have the precision values. Okay, we'll see. Scan those 10 tables and you'll try to import. So when you have this kind of complex PL SQL procedures and functions, okay, Oracle PG will not convert 100% of code according to PostgreSQL and syntax or workarounds. DBA has to, or developer has to take care in most of the cases to fix those kind of conversions. Okay, so if you already have a good experience or good knowledge in development, Postgres development, it's good to have. You can easily convert the code and you can you can migrate those schemas. Okay, so now something it got failed. So we'll see why it got failed. So fatal error, invalid input syntax for begin. Okay, if you see in Oracle, you have a number data type which supports the precision values. The value of the column is the column balance of account tables. Okay, 4005.5. Okay, so the begin data type will not support this kind of precision values. So for this, you need to use the double precision value in Postgres. Okay, that point you need to remember. So what I will do, let me go to database. SQL-D. I have a schema called set search underscore path bank underscore schema. Okay. So bank underscore schema, right? So here you have tables, right? So this is the account table you are getting issue, right? So you can just see what are the data types it has. For balance, okay, for balance, you have begin, right? So you have begin. So the values in Oracle of this column having the precision values. So for this, what I will try to do is I will change the data type from begin to double precision. So alter table, table name, alter column, column name, type. You have to use double precision. So double precision is one of the data type in Postgres. Cannot type alter type of column used by the view or rows. Okay. So basically on this table, you also have a view which is a dependent objects. So you also need to change that as well. So for now, I'm going to drop this view. Maybe I will recreate it again with the change data type, double precision data type I will create. Because in this accounts view also you have the begin. So it has a dependent value. So it is not allowing to alter. I have dropped the view. I'm going to alter it again. Okay. Now if you see /dt, you have changed from begin to double precision right now. Okay. So let's go and try to import it again. Okay, now we need to give everything now because we need the data only. Right? Import data from Oracle, yes. So while importing the data, this kind of issues is expected. Okay. So by default, Oracle PG will convert whatever the data you have, like number, it will convert to begin. But not all data will not suit for as a begin, right? It may have some precision values you need to convert as a double precision as well. Okay, so these issues you will definitely face while you are importing the data. You have to change the data types according to that, and you need to import it. Okay, so we'll provide some tips in the document. Okay, how you need to change those types, those data types. Okay, if you have in which value, whether you need to convert big int or double precision, what in which scenario you need to convert as a big int, in which situation you have to use double precision. So those kind of tips we'll provide in the documentation. So you can just go through it as well. And one more thing is synonyms. Okay, if you have any synonyms in Oracle, the synonyms will not support in Postgres, that object type. So what it does, instead of synonyms, it will convert as a views. Okay, so or even you can also do with set such underscore path. Okay, so it will just create as a view name with the set such underscore path, and it will directly fetch the data like synonyms equivalent to synonyms. It will act. Okay, so that also like we provide in the document how you can how it will behave when you have synonyms. Probably I would have create one synonym as well. Looks like I forget to create here. So if I create one synonym, it will convert as a view here. Okay. Or it will just do with such underscore path. So while you do practice, you just try to create a synonym object as well. So we'll see how it converts. what it is telling? Okay, foreign key constraints. Looks like constraints has been imported. Okay, let me go to schema, tables. Okay, so if you just do tables.sql, at the end you have some foreign key constraints, right? So it has created this foreign key constraint. That is the reason we should not import any kind of uh, so we should not import any kind of constraints before you import the data. So once the data is imported, then only you have to go with constraints. So for now, I'm going to delete these constraints, and probably what I will try to do is I will delete the entire schema right now. Is equal drop schema bank underscore schema cascade. So I have deleted all the migrated code for now. Okay, I will going to import right now again because I have removed the foreign key constraints in the table.sql for now. So just make a note all those constraints, and later once you import the data, okay, you can directly create those constraints. Okay, so that point you need to remember. I don't want to create the database because database is already there. Now I want to create the schema, such underscore path sequences. I want synonyms. I want tables, packages, views. Okay, I should not do view, but okay, it's fine. Triggers, functions, procedures, partitions. Here I'm giving no. Okay, but table space I don't want, but data I want. So it's always good to not have indexes and constraints in target system before, while after importing the data only you can do that. Okay, so that point you need to remember, after data import you have to give the indexes and constraints you have to create. Whatever we have deleted from the table.sql, those constraints you have to make it in a notepad, and later you have to create them. Okay, so we'll see. It may take just a couple of minutes to convert. If you're dealing with a very large database, okay, see for now, my VM resources are very small, okay, so it is taking much time. I mean, not much time, but at least it is taking for very few records. It is taking this much time. But if you're dealing with very big database, okay, you should have sufficient resources and sufficient memory so that you can change the data. By default, it will fetch directly 10,000 records, okay, while extracting. If you give the bigger number, it use the CPU resources and it fetch fast. And even you have parallel option to use, okay. Oh, we have changed to double. Okay, we have dropped it, right? So again, we have to do those changes. Sorry. So Postgres. So whatever I'm going to drop this view. Okay, now this should be fine. This should work now. So after this data import, okay, so we have one more parameter called test. Okay, so with the help of the test command, we can able to verify whether all the data and all the columns has been imported or not. Okay, so that we'll see how we can do that. So now it is trying to import the data in other tables as well. Okay, so looks like it has so many records. We'll see. Okay, so import has been completed. Now it is asking whether you need triggers. Yes, I want to triggers as well. And if all objects is converted to Postgres except the constraints and indexes. Now we have to import the constraints and indexes. Before that, I have to validate whether all my all my code is converted or not. Okay, so with the help of Orato PG, test is not a folder. Okay, this is just a option that you can use. Will generate the something about fail. We'll see what happened. Okay, it is not able to identify this /etc Orato pg.conf. So okay, we'll see why it is getting amended. Okay, so okay, so we have we have to set the DNS as well. That is the reason it is getting failed. Okay, so what I will do instead of again, I'll just go to test config, copy Orato pg.conf. Maybe I will run from here itself. Let's see. So what this command will do, test command. Okay, so this will connect to Oracle and it will fetch all the object types, columns and everything. And it will also convert to Postgres. It will validate whether your all objects and columns has been migrated or not. Okay, it will generate some migration, whatever name you want. Okay, it will generate this report. It will scan all the objects and it will generate this kind of report. So in this report, you could able to see all the objects, like for example, in Oracle, you have 3 columns on this table, whether the same columns and the table has been converted or not in your Postgres. It will check for all object types. It will check indexes has been, all Oracle indexes has migrated or not, all sequences have been migrated or not. Everything it will check, all object types along with the constraints it will check. So this is the validation command for test option which you can use in the Orato PG. So this is very useful to validate because you don't need to manually go and check all the object types whether you have in Postgres and Oracle. This option is very helpful once you do the migration to validate whether everything has been imported or not, or any objects missed as a part of migration, you can validate. Probably it will take some 5 to 10 minutes because it has to fetch all Oracle related objects and Postgres related objects, and it has to generate a report. Okay, so this probably we'll see tomorrow how the reports looks like. Okay, I will just leave this as it is. Let it take time. And tomorrow, what we can do, we have already migrated the data and structured. Okay, now Oracle and Postgres both are in sync. Okay, now we'll see how we can set up a golden gate. Now I will create an extract in Orato PG, I mean in Oracle side, and pump in Oracle side, and I will create a replicate in the Postgres side. Okay, so we'll see how we can replicate the data between Oracle and Postgres with the help of Golden Gate. So once you do a migration, you try to do a continuous replication from Oracle to Postgres. The only thing you have to remember is heterogeneous database Golden Gate will not support the DDLs as of now. Okay, so you have to create those DDLs manually in Postgres as well. But data replication, it will take care. Okay, so these points you need to remember. And tomorrow we'll see how we can set up the Golden Gate between Oracle and Postgres for the same setup. So because we already have a migration and we have the same rows count between Oracle and Postgres as well. So data also it will have in sync. Now we can set up the Golden Gate on that. Okay, so it has converted to this. We'll see. If you see here this report, how it looks like. Okay, you have a Oracle DB accounts. It has 5 columns, and Postgres also you have accounts. It has 5 columns. Okay. In Oracle DB, you have a table called beneficiaries. It has 5 columns. So it will give everything. And here at the last, it will give, okay, Oracle and Postgres have the same number of columns. Okay, something like this. If it does not have the same, it will give here an error. Okay, so some column is missing or something like this. Okay, they will also check for indexes, whether you have all indexes or not. Okay, if you see here, it has given one error. Table transaction doesn't have the number of indexes in the source database. It is 2, target 0. Why? Because we haven't still imported the constraints and indexes, right? So you will get something error, something like this. And the same way for constraints as well. Okay. So for now, I don't think we have any unique constraints. So it is telling, okay, primary keys. Okay, primary keys still we haven't imported. Even like foreign key constraints also it will give the same error. See, it has this much difference. Foreign key constraints still we haven't imported. Okay, we have to import the constraints as well. So once you import the constraints and indexes, then you can validate this test option so that it will show you whether you have equivalent both in Oracle or not. Everything triggers, procedure function, sequence, everything it will check. Okay, everything should be okay. If you get any difference, then you have to see, because I have dropped a view, right? That view because of that type. Okay, you have to create that view as well. And you have sequences, sequence values, everything. Okay, so these all things you can verify. And one more important thing is you have to handle the sequences very nicely. Okay, so because Oracle PG will convert whatever the current SCN number you have in Oracle, it will also do the same thing. So you have to, once you connect to the application, you have to be very careful about the sequences. Okay, you have to rebase these sequences. For example, in Oracle, you have current sequence of this is 11020. Postgres also you have the same. Okay, you may get the data conflicts, right? When you set up a replication Golden Gate or maybe any replication tool with Stream or not. So what you have to do is you have to talk with application team regarding the sequence. You have to go with some bigger number in Postgres side. Okay, so you have to deal with this sequence very carefully when you do with when you deal with the sequences as a part of migration, because both may get conflicts. Oracle PG will convert with the same number as Oracle you have currently. In Oracle now, right now it is application is still correcting, right? So the sequence values may keep on increasing, but in Postgres you have the same. So that is the reason before you do replication setup or before you do cutover, okay, after stopping the application from Oracle, you have to rebase all the sequence numbers +1 or +10 or +100 from Oracle side. Okay, so with the help of development team, you have to rebase this all sequences. So this point also you have to remember very carefully. Otherwise, you will end up with some data consistency issues and some conflicts. Okay, so yeah, so that's it I have for today regarding the migration part. Tomorrow we'll see the data replication part. Any questions for today? So I will provide the document how to install Oracle PG. It's very straightforward steps. Okay. And I will provide the document how we can take export and import objects, and I will also provide some tips. Okay, how you can migrate few of the object types. Some if you have so many PL SQL codes kind of things. Okay. Yeah. Any questions? If you don't have any questions, probably we can catch up tomorrow, which is the last class tomorrow regarding the Golden Gate migration. Okay, thank you. That's it I have for today. We'll catch up tomorrow. Bye.